Crypto, let's talk cryptocurrency. I know it's on everybody's mind, the amount of messages flooded in. Every single time we see a push on BTC USD, it's the same thing. In this video, what I want to be talking about, guys, is where I see price heading across multiple cryptocurrencies, targets, areas of value, personally, how I will be approaching it from my portfolio, as I feel like right now, this is just something, history is repeating itself, and I'm going to show you that visually on the charts, is repeating itself in the sense that when no one has targets and they don't have an exit plan, they make the same pattern, they make the same mistake. And I feel like we run the risk of people making that same mistake where you get so fully invested into greed of wanting things to go to the moon and even further than that, you fail to realize these inflection points where you should have your own personal strategy. I'm not saying you should have exactly the same exit plan as me, but you should have one. You should have one that you know at these areas, at these levels, whatever you're invested in, you know exactly what you're going to do. Some of you might be thinking, well, I'm just going to hold for the long run. Well, you have to think, how long is that? And what is that based off? What is it backed by? Right? You can't be so having your head in the clouds that you don't have even a short-term strategy to actualize those profits, right? To actually bank a certain amount, then reinvest. We potentially could be going into a bear market. We could be going to longer bear. I'm going to cover it in the chart. So without further ado, let's just get straight in. So just a quick reminder, guys, if you're taking tons of value away from the channel, you've been enjoying our videos and you want to make sure that you are in the loop, make sure if you haven't already, you are subscribed to the channel, you like, you comment, you engage with us and let us know your thoughts on these videos. We absolutely love doing them and we want to make sure that you're in the loop. Speaking of value, we want to make sure, check the links in the description. We have tons of gems there that will improve your trading journey. So just a quick reminder to you guys. Now let's get back to the video. Right, guys, so these are the four that I'll be covering. So BTC USD, Ethereum, Ripple, and ADA. First up, Bitcoin. Are we repeating ourselves? Well, first and foremost, we have to look at the bigger picture. So people are asking me, Mark, is this a huge head and shoulder pattern? Right? Think about what would have to happen if that was a head and shoulder pattern. If that played out with a typical head and shoulder pattern, you would see BTC US down here, and in the minus. So from that perspective, is that likely to happen? I don't think so. Well, what about the notion that this is one big impulsive leg, this is a corrective structure, and we could be playing out lower? I do see that as a potential, but I think over the coming weeks, or well, weeks and months, we are going to get a very, very clear picture. This is either going to be a slow move up, and as we know, if this is a retracement, if this is just a slow move up, then you're going to see the likes of Ethereum, Ripple, ADA, they're going to take off. They have the ability to literally rocket. We've seen, the thing is about crypto, as you can know, historically backed, when we get these runs, how long do they take? They're not just slow movers, they happen fast. So when they move very quickly, guys. So just understanding that as well is very important, which is why the targets, you need a game plan. You cannot just be getting involved in this and having no idea where you're going to get out. So look at it like this. We are either retracing here to come lower, and this is potentially a much larger flag, or we're going to make a new high. So it's either the top is in, or we're going to make a new high, and there'll be fib extensions around here like 618, etc., which is where we could likely test around these areas to then come back down. But what we have to understand is, if we look back, right, and we look at the previous run, look what happened here. So imagine that you was investing at this stage, right? A lot of people done this, right? A lot of people got involved in here. We started to slow decline. We started to bottom out here. What happened when price moved up? Let's zoom in. Think about the psychology as to what was happening when price was moving up here. People are thinking, right, we've moved up. Now we're going to make a new high. See, I told you, etc. The fear, the greed. And then what happens? We come crashing down, gets people panicking. People that know what they're on about, know what they're doing, see it as a discounted value. They buy, and then we shift. And all that becomes is one big descending structure. There is a potential that history will repeat itself. We can already see it here as well. Same sort of thing, right? It happens again, but more so prominent there. What are we seeing now on BTC USD? Is this the same thing that we're looking at right here? And if that is the case, we would probably see price go maybe a little bit higher, I would say around this sort of area, potentially towards that 52, 53, maybe even 55, and then come back down. And then what does that create? The same type of thing where we would move to the downside, likely take out these lows, and then you see price come back down to around 20k per Bitcoin, and then we move up, and then it creates the same pattern on a larger degree. That was just that on a smaller degree. So can we see the same thing happen again? Potentially, right? The key thing here is to get your ego out of the market. Really and truly, guys, who cares? Who cares where you call Bitcoin, where you call Ethereum, ADA, you name it? Does it really matter? All that matters is that, do you have a plan? You know, do you know how you're going to exit? Is there areas of value that you want to get back in again? Again, what I was alluding to in the previous videos with ADA, I got involved in ADA again at the area of value that I was speaking about before, and we come back down there, accumulated some more, and I'll probably get some more as well, right, when we get to a certain area, which I'll just cover in a second. So with BTC USD, I see it as very simple. We've had the push off. We really want to stabilize above this area. We've had some nice closes. What I like about it is that we did attempt to come back in and then we moved out, versus price just moving all the way out. If we just moved all the way out, generally speaking, that's when people can get caught and it just comes straight back in. So the fact that we almost had a false move in and then a push out, that's kind of a good sign. So I'm really curious to see that. And then on the weekly chart, if you look at it like that, we've got some strong weeklies there. We've just been wick. We filled those wicks that I was talking about. We've pushed to the upside. We've closed above there. I'm just really curious to see whether this is a retracement or we come back up here and take out a new high. And this is the point I'm making. If your mind is fixated on, well, this has to happen, we have to make a new high now, you will ignore these signs where we could turn around and go into a very, very slow bear market. So it's important that this is more of a reminder to you guys that maybe don't have a plan at all. Build one, like know what you're doing. Don't just take all of your life savings out and chuck it into a cryptocurrency thinking that you're going to shortcut your way to get rich. Very, very few people, they get lucky on a few things, right, where it happens. And if they don't have the proper mindset, they'll probably waste it all anyway. We've already seen it with lottery winners. You know, I digress a little bit, but you understand the theory. You have to have a plan for it. So BTC USD, next few weeks to a few months is going to be super fascinating. Speaking of something else that will be as well is Ethereum. So remember what I was talking about with Ethereum, I believe on one of the latest videos that I actually done on the channel here on Falcon, is that we were coming back for that double bottom and triple bottom, and we made that triple bottom and we've completely pushed off. I think this is more in line with BTC USD as a retracement, because what tends to happen, if it's just going to retrace, of course, money goes out of that into other cryptos, and we'll see momentum move to the upside, which is exactly what we've seen on Ethereum. We're seeing it on XRP right now. We're seeing it on ADA and many, many more that you may have already in your portfolio. So I'm curious to see if we sustain above this range, just above 3,000, could we then come back up to take out that high? Well, yes, and as we know, we can just consolidate for a bit and it just happens very fast, and then we potentially make all-time highs. So from that perspective, if you look at it on the weekly all the way through, look at that on Ethereum, beautiful, right? So I haven't got tons of Ethereum, but I've got a decent amount that I'm happy with. And to be completely honest, I'm waiting for more of the bear market, right? And when we do that, we could retrace heavily all the way back down, potentially down to 1,000, maybe even lower, maybe even down to $800 per coin. If we do, I will accumulate a lot more. But as of right now, I won't be adding any more Ethereum. If we came back down and it looked like we were still trapped within that range at, let's say, 1,700, I potentially may look at a little bit more. But as of right now, I'm good with that. I will hold that. XRP, however, I will definitely not be adding in more. Is my largest amount of crypto. And as you can see here, we found that base around 50, right? You can see there on the weekly, on the daily, looks nice and clear as well. So we arced our way around at around that 50 cent, moved off. This was looking interesting as well, the fact that we created the continuation. Right, so let me go to the lower time frame to show you. So we created the move off, the continuation, we've then moved off. And it's just interesting as to what I was talking about with BTC USD, right? So remember, if this is a retracement and people are getting out of the market and we're getting that slower volume to then come back down, well, then price will move out of that potentially into the altcoins, right? We've seen that historically. So if we then go to XRP, now look at what's happening, right? Price is moving out. We got to around $1-ish. We peaked at around, 110. So this is good. And I like the fact that we kind of didn't just reach an area and then retrace very quickly. We tested it, we come back around, we filled that, we arced round, and then we moved. It's a very, very strong sign that we could be moving a lot higher from here. So from a daily perspective, look at that. The next real area that I see that would be almost as not so much a stumbling block, but an area that we really want to clear is that right? We can see that was the last time we had that huge continuation and we moved to the downside. We wicked right there. So if we can close above that and sustain above that, and then we start to see lower time frame continuation, I wouldn't be surprised if we come all the way back up here at around $2. And then we know at the bigger picture, we can be going a lot higher. I would see that happen quite quickly and quite fast. Now, my question is again, where do you think people are going to be taking out profit? You'd be naive to think that we're not going to get to these areas and start spiking and start to see heavy retracements. So you either have an exit strategy that you take partial profits here and then you're holding for a longer, because you know, if you're looking at it from a fib perspective, however you're looking at your targets, we could be seeing all the way up to $7 to $10 per coin. So from that perspective, along the way, will I personally be taking out profits? Yes, I will. I will be taking out a certain percentage at around $3.50. And then I'll be taking a bigger percentage as we get higher and higher and all the way through. And to be honest, I will always leave a certain amount in. I won't take all of it out. Even if I am going to hold through the bear market, I'm happy to at least leave anywhere between 15 to 20% that I will leave for the next 5, 10, 15 years. I won't be touching it, right? Because there's a much bigger picture of adoption to come. And that would be something that I'm more than happy with. So that is my strategy. So again, I know value points, numbers in which that I can say, right, at this area, that's where I'll be taking this amount. At this area, that's where I'll be taking this amount. And then that way, as you know, the market goes fast. You've got to understand, as humans, we're not very good, generally speaking, the majority, at making good, important decisions decisively in the moment. Now, the majority of people that have got involved in crypto, they're not that well educated, if I'm being completely honest. And this is the harsh truth that you need to hear, because you've got involved off of the back of just a very, very little amount of knowledge from a friend. You've not been involved in the financial markets for years, and you're backing on other people that know their stuff. So chances are in the moment that all these emotions will take over you, right? You'll be looking for someone to say, should I get out now? What if there's more profit on the table? It will overcome you with so much anxiety because you don't have a plan. You've not built the mental framework. So my reminder to you guys is that get yourself educated. Do not be relying on anyone to tell you when to buy, when to sell, when to take your profit. You need to know and have a game plan for yourself. So if this is a reminder to you to do that, then perfect. This video has served its value. And make sure you share it with your friends as well. For those of you that have been taking value from our videos for years now, make sure, if you haven't already, that you're subscribed to the channel, you're in the loop, you share it with your friends, you like the videos, and engage with us. Comment what you'd like to see in the future. So for XRP, I'm very curious to see what happens over these coming weeks, that's for sure. But showing good signs now. The most important thing to me was the fact that we bottomed out at 50 with some very, very strong weekly candles. So I'm all over that. So last but not least, ADA, let's take a look at what is happening here. As you guys and girls know, I'm a big fan of this blockchain, and that we are looking at the ecosystem behind it. Go and do your research. There is so much, guys, that you can move this so much further. You can stretch so much further. So the strategy that you need to understand is this. Sometimes things can stay in these ranges for ages. Remember, I was talking about $1, right? If it comes back down to $1, I'll be getting involved, which I did. I'm not going to wait for this wick fill, right? Why? Because it's so close, it's marginable. Why would I wait for that wick fill? That's when it becomes borderline greedy. It's like if you're involved in 19.95 or $1, does it really matter in the long run when there is tons of potential of what this can go to? So my question is there, for those of you that are saying that, Mark, it's all well and good, but I don't have much money, right? I don't have much money to get involved. How do you know how long this is going to last for? I've traded currency for years and years and years, and there has been times, pound CAD, for example, stayed in a range for a couple of years before it moved. Everybody's looking at what's happening with pound CAD. Eventually it pushes out aggressively, but it lasted 2 years. How do you not know that this could just do the same? Just very, very slow. And you could have got involved loads of times, even on a monthly, if you was to deposit on a monthly basis or quarterly or half yearly, you'll be surprised the power of small numbers and how it can accumulate over time. So don't think that you always need hundreds of thousands to make money. But more to the point here is that if this comes back down again, will I buy more? Yes, I will. I can't give you financial advice, nor will I do so. But from my perspective and my experience, this is my philosophy, and I've learned this over the years. And this is nothing new. You know, people have been averaging in for years and years. It's a very effective strategy. However, for those of you looking at ADA, do I think that this is a very, very stable coin for the future? Yes, because of the ecosystem behind it. In the future, we could be looking at so much. And again, this is one that because of where it is, I'm happy to hold it. With XRP, I have a strategy. With Ethereum, I have a strategy, right? But when it comes to ADA, it's very, very unlikely that I will take any profit out. This is something I'm just going to be holding and holding and holding for a very long period of time. I'm talking 10 years plus. So from this perspective, every single time that it gets a good area of value, I would just average in again and again. And that's my strategy for this. But with ADA looking really solid, and I wouldn't be surprised if, again, if it really is a retracement on BTC USD and the altcoins go pretty much parabolic and it just shoots, this can rocket up and we can take out that high pretty easily, and you can see some very, very large spikes. But again, I'm not really going to be overly fussed on that because I'm holding for the long run. However, if you're not and you are involved in that, where are your areas of value? How have you measured your targets? Is it through using fibs? Whatever it is your strategy is, as long as you have those numbers and you know, right, once it gets to this area, I will take out 25% profit or 10% profit. Once it gets to this area, I will then take out another 10% profit, and I'll always leave, let's say 15 or 20%. As long as you know whatever that plan is, and that's tailored to you. There is no magic plan as to what to do, but you do need a strategy in place to exit. So this video to you guys is not so much about the technical analysis side. This is just my overview of it, but it's more so as a reminder to you, is that as a seasoned veteran now in the market with over a decade of experience in the financial markets, where I've personally seen people go wrong in many different industries and different asset classes, is that they never really have a strategy. They're just kind of involved, and sometimes they can be involved in these kind of booming periods when everything is just good, right? And they can actually make money with very little knowledge. And that's kind of scary to me, because when those people do make money, or it's in the right moments that you need to make a decision, they haven't got a clue what to do. And I wish that upon nobody, because the level of anxiety and stress you will have in your life, I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. So guys, be safe out there, be sensible, share this video with your friends, especially for those in the crypto space, as a reminder to get your head in the game, right? Don't have your head in the clouds, right? Or burying your head in the sand. You need a strategy in place so you know exactly what you're going to do, where you're going to do it. Guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments anything that you're currently looking at in the crypto space, maybe some other coins that you want us to take a look at and analyze. I'll be really curious to know what your top holdings, what are you favoring right now, any targets, any areas of value. Maybe you have your own strategy, right, that's worked well for you that you want to share with us. I'd absolutely love to know. Hope you're all crushing it, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care, guys. Peace.